So please welcome this week's special guest, John. So, Ed, what is John to you?
This is John. I once hid behind my shower curtain after mistaking him for a burglar.
Ed's mistaken miscreant. Kate, how do you know John?
This is John. He gave me the best day of my life at the National Funeral Exhibition.
Kate's morbid mate. And Lee, what is your relationship with John?
This is John. He recently named his baby Lee after I helped him deliver it in a local library.
David, where do you want to start?
Ed, where was this shower curtain?
I was renting a new flat, and it was the first night that I was there.
Yeah. And tell us a story.
I was asleep.
Yeah.
And I was woken up by someone coming into the front door, and I wasn't expecting anyone to be coming in.
Yeah.
So my immediate reaction was to panic. I was in a new place, ran to the bathroom, locked the door, got into the bath, shut the shower curtain.
Have you seen the film Psycho?
I haven't.
And Ed, what was he doing in your flat?
So it emerges that he was the previous tenant, and it was his first night in his new place. He was drunk and just went home on autopilot.
Didn't you change the keys when you took over?
You can't just change the keys, you have to change the locks as well, otherwise they don't work.
Well, we got the keys off the landlord.
Yes.
And obviously, John hadn't given his keys back.
So what happens next?
Well, so I was in the bathroom for
Yeah.
quite a long time, panicking, because I thought there's a burglar.
How did the panic manifest? Just, was it palpitations? What was going on?
Sort of an all-over fizzy feeling.
Right?
Are you living with a girlfriend?
Yeah, but she wasn't. She was away for work. I had to do the move, basically.
So you're cowering behind the shower curtain.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're as fizzy as anything.
Yeah.
Girlfriend's away, you do the move. All right, OK. And he's in.
That's exactly how the conversation went.
Yeah. And he's pickled, coming in, fumbling around.
Yes.
Where's my bed? And you're behind the shower curtain.
I was fizzing for about an hour, and I could hear them smashing
an
around,
hour?
like
How much
fumbling
fizzing?
around.
Smashing around or fumbling around?
Yes.
They're different things.
No, well, smashing and fumbling.
Smash, smash,
He
smash.
fumbled. He
Fumble,
fumbled.
fumble,
He
fumble.
fumbled.
Smash, smash, smash.
He fumbled.
Your
the-
Tommy Cooper impression isn't getting any better, is it?
He fumbled to the extent that it became a smash.
Ed, what is the moment when you decide to open the bathroom door and emerge?
When it's gone completely silent.
And that doesn't strike you as the most threatening moment?
No, because he might have gone. I was hoping he'd gone.
You come out, cowering. Open the door.
I peek and can see that he's fallen asleep on the
Oh,
sofa.
my God, right.
You're in pyjamas. You go out.
No,
Do you
just
wake him
boxers,
up?
boxers.
So you're just in boxer shorts?
Yes.
One can feel vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
What do you sleep in, David?
Conventional pyjamas.
Do you sleep in the full
Stylish.
matching top and bottom pyjama?
Actually, at the moment, seeing as you're interested, I have got...
I'm not interested, David, I'm aroused.
My most recent system involves more pyjama-ish bottoms, and then actually it's more like a T-shirt on the top, which is
You
incredibly,
are getting so
incredibly
rock and
modern.
roll.
What do you sleep in?
I sleep in my boxer shorts if I'm cold, and if I'm feeling hot, nothing.
Now I'm aroused.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
So you're in a Lee Mack-style nocturnal outfit.
Yeah, but the cold version.
Yeah.
And I gently approached. I did have a small vase in one hand just in case it turned rough.
Had you taken that into the bathroom, or did you pick it up?
On the way.
Right, OK.
Off the little table.
Yeah.
So you'd unpacked the flat in one day, girlfriend away, and
No.
thought the little vase would look lovely here.
Well, I'd not fully unpacked, but I'd unpacked the knick-knack box and the little vase was at the top of it.
Knick-knacks first, necessities later.
Yeah.
We're not animals.
I don't need my clothes, but I tell you what we do need is a tiny little trinket area.
All right, look, you're there in your boxers, you got your knickknacks out. What happens... What happens next?
I gently shook him by the shoulder, gently woke him up, and he was a bit confused, to be honest, but once he realised what he'd done, he was very, very embarrassed.
So what had he been doing for all that fumbling and smashing?
Well, I think he was trying to make himself a snack.
Did you see evidence of what sort of snack it was?
Well, the cupboards were empty.
He'd made himself a lovely knick-knack sandwich.
So, David, who would you like to quiz next?
Kate, so what is the National Funeral Exhibition?
It's like the trade show.
So it's not a permanent thing. It happens once a year, like a sort of conference, like the motor show, that kind of
It's
thing.
like the ideal home exhibition, the ideal death exhibition.
I like to call it the hearse of the year show. Anyway, a friend of mine who is also a vicar had been to it before and said, you should go to this. And so John took me along because John is my local funeral director.
And why was it so fantastic?
There was lots of things to try out.
Could you get in a coffin?
You could get in a coffin and you could have the lid put on.
Did you give it a try, Kate?
I did get in a coffin and had a little try in one. Yep. Well, I'm never going to know what it feels like,
You will
really,
one day.
am I?
You will one day. I couldn't do that.
No,
Could
you
do
won't
that?
one day, Rob.
Well, I think when we die...
We're alive.
We're still alive.
You're a very spiritual person, aren't you, Rob? Yeah.
Apart from these coffins, what else was on display?
I had to go on a grave digging machine. That was a lot of fun. With
A grave digging machine?
I was going to say, is that just a spade?
So, are you friends?
Yep, he picked me up in his car. We went round the exhibition. He was shopping for some things. He had some things that he needed to buy.
What did he need to buy?
New top hats for all the staff, and he also needed more storage, a bigger fridge.
Sorry, did you just say more storage, a bigger fridge?
Yeah.
Does it have an ice-making machine at the front?
How many times in a week do you guys speak to each other?
Oh, only when we've got work, so it depends what the rate of...
Once again, the subject of the local death rate has come up on the show.
All right. Now then, what about Lee? Just remind us what you said, Lee.
This is John. He named his baby Lee because I recently helped him deliver it in my local library.
OK, so what were
Sorry,
you...
we haven't got time for any more questions.
What were you doing in a library?
How dare you? I'd gone to borrow a book. It's a library.
And John is there with his wife.
Well, yes, he didn't give birth to the baby.
And she's that pregnant.
Yeah. She was on the floor screaming.
And the library.
I said, are you all right? And she said, yeah, I'm really overdue. I said, don't panic, the fines aren't that big here.
When was this?
Oh, this was, like, this morning. No, it wasn't this morning. It was about 3 months ago.
OK, so you were in the library 3 months ago.
Correct.
During the lockdown, when all the libraries are closed.
I might be wrong with my timings, but it was just...
Feb.
It was the first time the library had opened after lockdown, because
Oh,
that's
right.
why it was so quiet. I was first in there.
You were first in when the library reopened.
So did I say library? Sorry,
Yes.
I meant Wetherspoons. I was one of the first in, and I was in there with my mask, and he thought I was a nurse, and...
So what's the first sound you hear from his wife?
Shh. It was on my phone at the time.
Yeah.
Shh. Like that. Right. And then I walked off, but that was about 10 minutes later when she had a baby.
Who was the one who told her it was time to push?
I wouldn't know when someone has to push.
So who was running this whole
You've got
thing?
lots of
He
children.
was running it a bit, the librarian was running it a bit, the other library staff member was out doing it a bit, and I was on hand to help
right,
out.
look,
I was getting it wrong.
Yes,
I was going, pull!
So, just talk us through it. Take us through it
OK.
stage by stage.
Waters broke in non-fiction, and then she was now...
Now we're in the realms of fiction.
Well,
I
ironically...
think we all know that. but carry
Ironically,
on.
the most space was in the children's section. She was lying in the children's section. And she goes, I need something. So I picked off the 0 to 2 books. I said, well, they'll come in handy. And then I started helping out.
How did you help out?
How?
Well, first of all, I held her hand.
Really?
Yeah, but I used 2 hands because I felt it was more intimate. You'll appreciate this. I was giving a little prayer at the same time. Help me out here, please, God. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
No. And did a baby appear, or did you get into the ambulance?
Not only a baby, 3 wise men. He's good, isn't he?
So let's not jump ahead now, Lee. Go through it.
I said jump ahead. It was 2,000 years ago.
Let's go on. So, you've got 2 hands praying.
Yeah.
What happened then?
Well, and then she starts having the baby. So
Well, I mean, that doesn't happen
What
in
do
an
you mean?
instant. There's a little bit of an appearance.
I didn't get involved involved in the business end, did I?
Right.
Yeah,
Who did? The librarian?
my manager, he deals with all the business stuff.
All right. We need an answer. So, David's team. Is John Ed's mistaken miscreant, Kate's morbid mate, or Lee's proud parent?
So at the beginning, when Ed first told his story, I didn't buy it. But now, looking at him, I'm getting more of the drunk guy and less of the funeral director.
But that's because he's come and he's all in casual situation. Does John have a family, Kate?
Yes.
What do they comprise of?
I'll tell you, a small baby called Lee and a wife.
He's got a younger son who's going to follow in the family footsteps.
Wow, he grew up quick.
So, what's it going to be then? Time to decide.
Well, John, would you just tell us?
Process of elimination, I'm going Ed.
You're going
Saying
Ed,
stories.
OK. Claude?
I'm going Kate.
David, what do you get when you look at John?
Kate has behaved like she knows this man.
OK.
I'll go Kate.
John, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm John, and I took Kate to the National Funeral Exhibition.
Yes, John is Kate's morbid mate. Thank you very much, John. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Richard. So, John, what is Richard to you?
This is Richard. He's the stunt horse rider who galloped me through a moonlit forest so I wouldn't miss the Man United Bolton game.
Gabby, how do you know Richard?
This is Richard. He is the flight attendant who persuaded me I wasn't dying, but I had trapped wind.
And finally, David, what's your relationship with Richard?
This is Richard. He came to my aid at the local tip when I lost my specs in his great big skip.
Lovely. So, there we have it. Lee.
Right. Would you like me to describe him, by the way? Would that help you suss out which of the three he might know?
Yeah, a little bit of audio description.
OK, well, he looks quite a cool dude, actually, so we can rule out that he knows David. Actually, I think you might know him because he's dressed as a policeman and he's not talking.
So who are you going to quiz first?
Right, John. He's the stuntman that covered you.
No, we were using horses in this production I was filming, and we were in Scotland, and that's when he offered to help me.
But what was it you said? You said he galloped you to a television. So what, you got on the back, spooned behind him?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I was spooning him. No, I was just riding on the back of his horse.
And you were clothed?
Fully clothed. Yeah.
And the horse would have been quicker than a car in this instance?
In this instance, yes. We talked about it early in the day, and he said, I know exactly where you can watch it. There's a pub over there, and I can definitely get you there for kick-off. And
he literally pulled up outside the pub, you jumped off and ran into the pub like a desperate cowboy?
Well, no, he came in with me.
Oh, he came in with you?
And
with
where
the
did
horse?
you put the... Yeah.
Tied it up outside.
You tied it up outside on the thing? Was this in, like, mid-America in the 1870s? What do you mean you tied... What thing did you tie it to?
Well, I didn't see. I just got off the horse, and then he came in.
You got where you were going and you went into a bar and you didn't take the horse purely for the joke that would have followed.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what the joke would...
The reason why you
Why
don't...
the long face?
Yeah, but the reason why you've never heard that joke, Rob, is because it's a bit sensitive with you, isn't it?
You sound like you've got quite a little round face.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris. I sound
It
like...
wasn't meant to be a compliment, but...
What kind of faces do the rest of us sound
yeah,
like
that's
we
quite
have?
interesting, yeah.
Take some time with Lee in particular.
Lee just... He sounds like he looks like a cheeky little monkey who's the only one that knows he's about to fling a poo.
Wow. That kind of... Please, can I use that on my posters for the next tour? What about David?
Oh, David!
From voice alone, he sounds like he looks like a Toby jug of a duck.
That is bang on.
I mean, I think the
that is the image I go for.
I think this deaf neighbour of yours was right the first time. Right, Lee, who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Gabby.
Just remind us, Gabby, for the benefit
this is
of the
Richard,
slower
and he
members.
is the airline steward who persuaded me I wasn't dying. I had trapped wind.
OK, so what were your symptoms?
I felt like really breathless, and I just couldn't. I felt like I couldn't get a breath at first.
You hadn't opened the window again, had you?
And, my husband looked across the aisle and said, "You look a bit pale."
Well, you say your husband looked across, you mean he came from economy up to first class.
He said, "You look a bit pale," and I said, I can't get any breath, and I felt really, really uncomfortable.
Where were you going to?
We were going home.
From?
Well, that helps us. We were going home.
We were going from Gibraltar.
Quite close to home at this point?
No, quite early on in the flight, about
OK.
10, 15 minutes into the flight, I started to feel a bit dodgy. Anyway, then, lo and behold, Richard came down and he said, "You all right?" I said, "I'm really not feeling great, actually." He said, "Come up here," and brought me up into the galley.
Yeah.
And then, well, I heard him talking to the captain, and then I heard the word doctor being mentioned, and I heard the words...
Oh, my God, what do you mean you heard the word doctor? Because that could be quite scary if he said, "Listen, pilot, we need a..." I'm not a pilot, actually, I'm a doctor. That would have released the wind.
I thought I was dying. I thought I'd ruptured my appendix or something like that.
And what kind of things did he say to calm you down?
I think he said, well, if we do go down in the sea, don't worry, you're full of wind, you'll float for longer. And then
Well, at some point...
chilled her out.
At some point, he kind of knelt down in his very caring way and said, "There is a possibility this could be trapped wind," which filled me with horror, because it was just going to all come out at some point, and that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but better than dying.
So then he just went one step further, and he said to me, "If we lower the plane, there's a good chance..."
Well, so your internal pressure would be less?
So he said, "There's a good chance it could come out, but I've got to warn you..."
Whoa. Would that work? Does the science add up there that you're more likely to release wind?
At this
Otherwise,
point...
by that logic, everyone would be farting on takeoff.
You're not saying that it was beginning its descent?
Well, I don't know how far out it would begin its descent, but...
Well, not 15 minutes after takeoff.
No, it wasn't 15 minutes. By this point, we're like over halfway into the journey.
So he said to the cockpit, "Bring it down," and did they do that?
Apparently, they did.
Quick, bring the plane down, I think she might blow.
Yeah.
So what happens? They bring it down, and what was the effect on you?
Well, within a few seconds, minutes maybe, a tiny little burp came out of my mouth.
Of your mouth?
Out of your mouth?
And I thought, that's it. I'm good. And I walked back to my seat.
Did everybody cheer and clap?
Yeah.
The truth is, when I say that...
The truth is, it didn't happen, Gavin. That's the truth.
The truth is, when
None of this has ever happened. I don't think you've even ever been to Gibraltar. The only bit of this that I believe is that you fart a lot.
What about David? Remind us of your claim.
This is Richard. He came to my aid at the local tip when I lost my specs in his great big skip.
What were you doing at the tip? What were you getting rid of?
I was getting...
Not another body, David.
Not another body, no. I bury them. Cover them in acid. But no, this was 2 CD players and a DVD player.
What did you do with them at the tip?
I put them in the small electrical goods skip thing.
And so what did you do? Did you lean right over to put them further in the middle?
I leant right over.
Did you place them? Was it a shallow skip? Or...
No, it was deep. You had to go up a staircase, like a wheelie set of stairs.
Yes. Now, most people throw things in skips by just lobbing them. They don't lean over. And I'm
Or
trying to work out...
upstairs and then lean over, no?
Yeah, the up the stairs thing, I'm not quite... I mean, how tall was this skip?
Why didn't you just throw them in?
It was about a foot high, but I thought it would be fun to climb a staircase.
Take us now to the crux. The losing of the glasses.
The losing of the glasses. OK, so I'm throw the things in, the skip, and they make a crashing sound, and I lean in to peer to see what I, in my mightiness, have wrought. My glasses were a bit loose, and...
You had quite a sweaty head from all of the effort of lugging the 2 CD players and the DVD
the effort
player.
going up all the stairs thinking, this isn't very practical. What if I was throwing away a dishwasher? And they slid down my sweaty Toby jug duck beak.
I fell into the skip?
And fell into the skip.
Did you shout for help?
I went, excuse me!
And then what, Richard appeared?
He appears. He goes into the skip.
Yeah?
I mean, I'd explained in words what had happened. I said,
What
my
did you
glasses
say?
just fell off. They should be directly below here.
And did he not say, well, in you go, then?
Yeah, why did he think
he
it was
didn't
his
say in
job
you go
to do
then.
that?
He said, it's all right, I'll go in and get them.
And did you ask why?
Why he'd go in and get them?
Yeah.
Why, did I want to talk him out of it?
So he'd come over and you'd said, could you go and get my glasses?
I quacked, he gave me some bread. I said, actually, that's not good for me, I need seed.
Never, ever say that to a stranger at the tip.
So, did you get the glasses?
Yes.
Good. Right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Richard John's horseback hero, Gabby's steward saviour, or David's rubbish rescuer?
Oh, tricky.
Really tricky.
Chris.
I can't go with Gabby myself.
I don't know. Like, trapped wind is very painful.
What about David?
If anybody's going to the tip to do the physical work, it's Mrs. Mitchell, isn't it?
So who are you thinking, John?
Well, we were chatting earlier in the green room, and he told me he was a Man United fan.
OK.
OK, so, what are you going to say, Lee?
We'll go John.
You're going John. OK. Richard, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Richard, and I am the flight attendant that helped Gabby.
Richard, you're on national television. Did you ask the pilot to lower the plane?
We were descending anyway.
Yes, Richard is Gabby's steward saviour. Thank you very much, Richard. So please welcome this week's special guest, Mick. So, Gabby, what is Mick to you?
This is Mick, and I deliberately tripped him up during the wheelbarrow race at my son's sports day.
OK, James, how do you know Mick?
This is Mick, and for 6 months, he was my sworn enemy when a practical joke got out of hand.
And finally, Lee.
This is Mick, he's my son, and I'm only allowed to see him every second Friday. Sorry, no, that's not it. This is Mick. I once took him home from nursery instead of my own son.
So there we have it. Is Mick Gabby's cheated child, James's feuding friend, or Lee's traded toddler? David's team, where would you like to begin?
Well, Gabby, the wheelbarrow race, you were also a competitor. What was the format of the race, and how did the accident
Your
happen?
classic sports day wheelbarrow race. Child is the wheelbarrow. I was driving my son as a wheelbarrow, and Mick's mum, Barbara, was driving him. And there's always a lot... I feel our family gets a lot of pressure on sports day because my husband was an international rugby player and I did sport. And people always look at us as if they're the ones to beat. You know, I always feel that added dimension of competitiveness.
You were a rhythm gymnastic, weren't you?
I was a gymnast.
Yeah, I think they're looking more at him. Carry on.
So we were in the lead, my son and I. And you know, like in your peripheral vision, you can feel somebody coming. And as we got to the turn, they were level with us. And my son's arm buckled, and which is, for a wheelbarrow race, is a bit of a no-no. So it takes you a couple of seconds to recover. So now we're behind.
Quite painful for your son as well. Perhaps that should be the main concern.
Classic sports person.
Oh, that's a no-no! We need this!
We got back level with them, and I'm ashamed, obviously, about what happened next. So I can feel, you know, these horrible thoughts coming into my mind. You know, we could take him out. You know, we could.
Wow. Come on, this is why we've been taking all the drugs.
And I stood on his hand, and so I know
Deliberately.
You were thinking we should take him out.
So he then slightly buckled. So
Which is a no-no.
He got himself back into the race, and I decided that I couldn't let us win because that could be construed in some people's eyes as cheating, standing on the opposition's hands.
And in some people's eyes, physical assault.
So I had to then sabotage us because I couldn't let us win. So I deliberately kind of pushed my son into the ground.
So you assaulted 2 children.
I kind of just, you know, pretended to trip onto Reuben. So,
Right.
and then his arms buckled, double buckle, which is a no. And that meant
Reuben is your boy.
yes. Oh gosh, yes. Yes.
You know the one with the face like that.
All right. Who would you like to speak to next?
OK, James. So Mick became your sworn enemy because of a practical joke.
That got out of hand.
That got out of hand.
Yes.
So what was the practical joke or prank?
First of all, I'll say for the record, before we carry on, I hate this boy. I'm nothing but content for him, and I'm furious he's got on this show.
I just think I feel I can only see him every second Friday.
So what was the practical joke, James?
He put cabbage leaves in my bed.
How did he get in your room?
I was staying at his house.
On a sleepover? How old are you?
A few years ago.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have been born.
He was 9.
And you were, what, 31?
I was, what, 28? 29?
And how do you know him?
I know his dad. He's his son.
And you were staying at their house?
Yes.
Why did he put cabbage leaves? Why is that a thing?
Well, it's not a thing until he started doing it.
Yeah.
There's something severely wrong with him. I don't know why he started.
But you say
pulling this kind of
started
stunt.
doing it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is a one occasion when you're
is
staying
it?
there. Well, I don't know.
This is the first of many, David. I said got out of hand. I do not use those words lightly.
So you regularly stay at the house of...
Oh, no. Oh. This little man does not restrict these pranks to his own house. He has no respect for anyone's privacy and will cross any boundaries available to him. I hate him with all my heart.
Yeah. So he initially put cabbage leaves in the bed you were sleeping in when you were staying at his father's house.
Yes.
Right? And then subsequently...
Yes.
He has followed you and put cabbage leaves in other places you've been sleeping.
No.
OK? What then?
He sent me a cabbage in the post. He sent me half a cabbage, cling filmed, in a box. I was out when they delivered it. I had to go to the post office to pick it up. There was a note inside that said, "You got cabbaged again."
So, OK, so he's doing that. Did you, bearing in mind that this is a minor, did you at any...
It was a major, as far as I'm concerned.
Did you at any point retaliate?
Yeah, but it took me 6 months.
What did you do?
After 6 months of this...
Well, but you say 6 months of this.
Yeah.
What is this? There's the initial cabbage leaves in the bed at his house, and there's the posted half cabbage.
Yeah.
Anything else?
His granddad cabbaged me to my face.
What does that mean?
He gave me a present. It was all wrapped up nice. I thought it was a nice present. I unwrapped it. It was another half a cabbage wrapped in cling film. Members of the public started cabbaging me. I made the mistake of talking about it on the radio, and then everyone got the idea, and I couldn't turn up to a gig without there being a cabbage hidden somewhere in my dressing room.
Well, thank God you're playing safe and not saying it on telly, eh?
Yeah. So, did you retaliate?
Absolutely did. I removed all of his belongings from his bedroom and replaced them with cabbages.
That's, I would say, a disproportionate response.
6 months of my life, David. 6 months of my life of not knowing where the next cabbage was coming from. It was horrible. I had to go big. I've been cabbaged so many times. Somebody started a Twitter account, was tweeting pictures of cabbages on me every day. They said stuff like, oi, oi, Savoy. It was horrible.
And that was just the tip of the iceberg.
It's a lettuce! It's a lettuce, you idiot!
No, but come on, cut me some slack!
No. I would say that anyone who can enjoy that joke about a lettuce would have to be a sociopath.
All right, on to Lee.
Lee, remind us of your story.
This is Mick. I once took him home from nursery instead of my own son.
Why did you not recognise your own son by using your eyes and knowing what he looks like?
I do recognise my own son, but we had this new pram, and the pram... I put him in the pram. He was very young at the time, because, well, you have to go to nursery. And I put him in the pram.
At nursery?
Not a pram, a pushchair.
They're not a pram when they're sort of tiny.
A pushchair, you made one mistake. You say lettuce instead of cabbage. They're on your back. You say pram instead of pushchair. I get to see him every other week. I'm stressed. I put him in the pushchair, and then I got chatting to all the other mums and dads and stuff. Got chatting, turned round. Little did I realise that one of the other parents had exactly the same pushchair, and because he was asleep, I just didn't bother talking to him because I thought he was asleep. Pushed him and got all the way home. Long walk as well, because he goes to school in London and we live in Aberdeen.
How long was it before you realised?
Probably Glasgow. It was about... believe it or not, preferably do.
Yeah, that's very much the question.
Believe it or not, it was as I went into the front door and I pushed him towards my wife, who was coming towards me, and she said, "That is not my son."
But the other mother would have recognised her child, so let's go to the other mother.
Let's go to the other mother.
What happened there?
So, obviously, I'm not there to see the other mother.
No, but presumably in the police interview later, you've gone through those details.
No, I knew it would be a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, so I thought I'd better play safe and just keep him. And that's what we did. We just ended up bringing up another child. So I got into the house, pushed him into the house. My wife said, "That's not my son." So I went, "Oh!" I realised immediately what had happened, obviously. I turned round and I raced back to the school very quickly. So I got in just in time for them to go, "What are you?" And then...
So you got back just in time.
Got back in time.
Just before Mick's mother was going to start screaming, "My child has disappeared, my child has disappeared."
Yeah, because what had happened is she was getting a bit frantic, but someone had calmed her down by doing the obvious and pointing to the child and saying, use your logic here.
Yeah,
there's a
child abductors don't tend to leave a child as well.
So, David's team. Is Mick Gabby's cheated child?
Maybe.
James's feuding friend?
Maybe.
Or Lee's traded toddler?
No.
I think that the cabbages, that is a good trick, because cabbages, when they get warmed up, stink. I also have, been to many a sports day where the parents do get incredibly competitive. I would probably lean towards Gabby.
What about you, Melvin? Which way are you leaning?
I believe Gabby, but James is just weird, so I believe him even more.
Your paranoid view seems to be the whole country's in on it. Now everyone's sending you cabbages.
Every time people laugh at me, I suspect they're my enemy, which makes my job very difficult.
You think Gabby, you think
Gabby, but James even more.
And David thinks it's me, so...
Oh, I don't know. James.
You're going for James. Mick, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Mick, and I am James's worst enemy.
Yes. Mick is James's feuding friend, and here's the proof that that is what James did to Mick's bedroom. Thank you very much, Mick. So please welcome this week's special guest, Miller. So, Steve, what is Miller to you?
This is Miller. He presented me with a trophy after I rode 2 miles down a river on an inflatable rhino.
Gabby, how do you know Miller?
This is Miller, and I know Miller because we often take one of my dogs flying.
And finally, David, what's your relationship with Miller?
This is Miller. I accidentally outbid him for a cuckoo clock when I sneezed at an auction.
So there we have it. Lee's team, where do you want to start?
Should we start with... Who do you want to start with? Steve?
Yeah.
So, just remind us again, because I'm confused with the words.
So he gave me a trophy after I rode 2 miles down a river on an inflatable rhinoceros.
What a man.
Catherine, did I ever tell you about the time I rode down the river on a real rhinoceros?
On its horn.
Just saying.
Why have you kept in touch, Steve?
We haven't.
Did you not like him?
It takes place in Fort William in Scotland, and I very rarely go there.
And is this an annual event?
Yes, it's the river that runs down the side of Ben Nevis, which is a whitewater river, and it's run on lilos, usually.
I've been on that amazingly, I honeymooned very near there.
You weren't there at the time that this event was taking place?
No, but I know that is true, that Fort William is near Ben Nevis, so that bit is definitely...
This is the bit I'm worried about now, because I need your help, and so far you go, oh, this is true, there is a mountain.
What's such a big deal about Miller that he got to present the trophy?
That's very aggressively put.
What does Miller do? The race is run to raise money for the Loch Harbour Mountain Rescue. It's paddled to raise money for the mountain rescue. And,
what a man.
Miller's...
Was everyone else on an inflatable animal?
Everyone else was on lilos.
As in the traditional, what I'm thinking of as a lilo is just like a bed that's inflatable.
Traditional, what you sleep on when you go camping.
So it's a fun event where it's like the water equivalent of a fun run. You've got to try and stay on in a hostile environment on a lilo that's not designed for it. Yes?
So why did you choose to do a rhino?
I was going off script. I went down to Toys R Us to try and get what I thought would be... I wanted to get an inflatable T-Rex, but they didn't have one. They just had a rhino.
So you're saying there's a great big Toys R Us next to Ben Nevis?
That's not true. That's not true.
All right, who are you going to move on to?
OK, Gabby. Tell me again. Something about dogs flying.
So, Miller has his pilot's licence, and we take my dog flying occasionally.
We?
Me and Miller.
You two take the dog?
Yes, Miller flies the plane.
And what do you do?
Right,
You're a passenger, or are you learning to fly?
No, I'm not yet. I'm not learning to fly yet. But,
That's instantly much more credible, because I thought you meant that your dog flew on its own. So I'd already excluded you from this, but now I understand.
It's not you who wants to go, it's the dog that wants to go.
No, initially I wanted to go. It was an accident the first time. He kept his light aircraft at an airfield, and I had taken... I was taking the dog for a walk in a park nearby, and basically I was supposed to meet my husband to hand the dog over. He'd got delayed, and I turned up and I was about to say, I'm really sorry, it's not going to happen today, I've got the dog. And Miller's up for it, and he said, just bring the dog with you.
Right.
And that was the first time.
So then what happened the second time?
Well, the dog just loved it. The dog, like, you know...
Did it tell you?
When this man approached you with a plane nearby, you just... You are happy to assume he was a pilot. Take your dog up.
we pre-arranged the whole thing.
I don't think you've told us the breed.
Boxer.
Boxer.
Yeah.
Boxer's a big dog.
Mine is a boxer.
Big dog, a boxer. Does he wear a seatbelt?
Yes, but he doesn't. Honestly, he's so laid back. He just kind of like sinks into the seat and.
He wears a seatbelt.
Well, you strap him in.
He's put a seatbelt on.
Are you sure he's not terrified?
He's never peed himself on these little hops.
Yeah, but what about the boxer? OK, so this is the bit now, it's the detail. It's the seatbelt.
Well,
a dog in a seatbelt.
A seatbelt on, because the first time, because I didn't know, if he'd react OK, so I, being his, his mummy...
No, you're not his mummy, Gabby. Your husband is very ugly.
No, but in his...
Final question. If there's a bit of turbulence, do you ever turn around to him and say, is it windy, Miller?
Now, what about David and the cuckoo clock?
Oh, wow. Now, there you go.
Well, I'd be interested to know what your accidental outbid was for what amount.
I think it was about £250.
And had you been bidding up to that point and then stopped?
I had not.
You'd not bid at all?
No.
What were you there for?
I was there because my wife wanted to buy a dining room table.
MFI was shut, was it?
No, because as you've had occasion to mention, Lee, I'm terribly, terribly posh.
Right, and so you could feel it coming on as the bit... And were you worried that this was going to...
Well, no, I wasn't. I didn't think this would happen. I thought it was a ridiculous thing to have happened. If you told me beforehand, would this happen? I'd say, no, I would never believe anything like that could happen.
You have to convince us we're struggling.
Yeah. I get hay fever at some times of the year, and this was one of those times.
You're not going to end this story weirdly. Every time I sneeze, I hold up a number.
I didn't hold up the number. I sort of had the number there, but I didn't hold it up.
What did you do then?
I sneezed.
Surely if the system is you hold up a number, at some point your hand must have come up as well.
You're echoing my very words. That's what I said. Of course, it's a ridiculous situation. Someone sneezes, they just happen to have the number slightly visible and the auctioneer takes that as a bid. What sort of a system's that?
Let's have a quick reenactment of the moment. I mean, you were at 240 pounds going to the gentleman in the nice, soft, crushed velvet. 250 pounds!
What kind of system is this?
How lovely that David Mitchell has bid for this and the money will go to a good home. Thank you, David.
Oh, no, please, auctioneer, but... Oh, all right, I'll be quiet. This is so embarrassing.
So how did you make the connection with the miller?
Because I was aware that he'd made the penultimate bid, but I tiptoed up to him afterwards and asked if he wanted to buy it for the...
For his last bid?
For his last
Which
bid,
was
so
what?
I would only have been, I think, about 10 or less than I'd bid.
But if you exploded like that, I don't believe you would have tiptoed.
And I probably didn't actually tiptoe. I wasn't actually, I was probably resting on the heels of my feet. But I walked what I thought was quite discreetly, although I accidentally bought a couple of vases on the way.
All right, we need an answer. So, is Miller Steve's prize presenter, Gabby's pet pilot, or David's clock collector?
Well, I believe that he gets hay fever, David, but none of the rest of it.
So you believe the cool thing?
Yeah.
So, Catherine, you're saying it's not David?
I don't think it's David. I believe Steve's won trophies, but none of the rest of it. So I believe Gabby. I think that all sounds
You
very
believe
true.
she likes to take a boxer dog flying?
Yeah.
With Miller?
Yeah.
I don't think you can take a dog on a plane,
You can take dogs on planes if you go through the correct channels.
Really? You
They
can.
sent a dog into space.
They never got it back.
They sent a dog into space.
I don't believe Gabby's story, but I do think he looks like a pirate.
Now, you see, if we're going to talk about looks, I would say it's the only time I am going towards David. He looks like a man who's desperate for a cuckoo clock. He looks like a man whose budgie recently died. And he's looking for some company once an hour, but just for a split second.
I'm with Gabby.
You think it's Gabby. You're saying...
Let's say Steve.
When all three of us are agreed it's not David.
Yes.
Yep.
We're going with Gabby and the flying.
You're saying it's Gabby, it's the dog in the plane. Miller, would you please reveal your true identity?
OK, I'm Miller. I presented Steve with a trophy for riding down a river on an inflatable rhino.
Yes, Miller gave Steve a trophy. Thank you, Miller. So please welcome this week's special guest, Lee. So, Pam, what is Lee to you?
This is Lee. He caught me in his bookshop when I was putting my books on top of Richard Osman's.
All right, so, Pam's bookshop buddy, Kyle, how do you know Lee?
This is Lee. We once pretended to be 50 Cent's support act to get into a club.
Kyle's fellow fraudster. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Lee?
This is Lee. I single-handedly held his five-a-side football team to a draw after all four of my teammates were sent off.
So there we have it. David.
Right. So where was this bookshop, Pam?
In Blackjack Street, Cirencester.
And what's it called?
Octavia's.
Great name, Blackjack Street. That's
Blackjack Street is great, isn't it?
Do the numbers only go up to 21?
So describe what you did and
I
how
went
Lee
in,
responded.
and as you go in, there's a round table in front of you on which they put all the bestsellers. And I saw, as I walked in, a great stack of Richard's books, and I was consumed by a bit of jealousy and envy. I thought, here's this man who's selling all these thousands of books, and here am I trying to earn a crust as a poet.
Yeah.
And I confess, a black cloud descended upon me, rigid with fury. I picked up...
That's that scene from Pulp Fiction.
I will strike down upon thee!
It's like Samuel L. Jackson.
Rigid with fury and envy and jealousy and all of those foul emotions. I've got a couple of my books and I put them on top of his because I just thought it wasn't fair that one person should be so massively successful when I am scratching a living as a versifier.
Well, that all sounds very plausible.
And Lee saw you do this.
He saw me. He came over to me very politely and he said, "Excuse me, madam, but I have to bring to your attention the fact that you're not permitted to shift books around in the way that you are doing at present." And he said, "I must insist that you replace the books where they were originally exhibited."
Did he realise that they were your books?
What?
Did he realise they were your books?
Not initially. Not until I spoke. And then when I spoke, the realisation dawned across his face and he said, "Ah, you are that poet of renown."
Yeah. You are that poet of renown. I wish you'd put that book down. Wow. Hannah is applauding my rhyming.
You're surprised because you were lamenting the scansion even as you said it.
I was. So did he make you put them back?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I
Lee.
left Octavia's with my tail between my legs.
She went to the bookshop at number 22, but they'd gone bust.
Are you getting used to him now?
Yeah, I'm getting used to him now.
Who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Kyle, tell us your story again, please.
So we pretended to be 50 Cent's opening act to get into a club.
What was the club?
It was, I don't remember the name of the club, but it was in the Arcadian in Birmingham.
And that night, 50 Cent, who is... I mean, I'm not great with music, as you know. He's a rap star.
Yeah,
Is that
Fitty.
right? Yeah, yeah.
He's what happened when Dollar split up, essentially.
So he was playing in Birmingham that night, and people will be thinking there'll be a lot of his team around, and so it was a plausible thing to say.
So Lee was our manager. We were from New York, and he was telling them, like, listen, I've got these guys. They weren't going to come out tonight because they were going to be tired after the gig, but they've actually decided that they do want to come and shake a leg, and we've heard that this is the best club in Europe.
We've heard that the best club in Europe is in Birmingham.
So did they ask you anything? So did you put on a New York accent?
Well, Lee was doing the chatting and talking, and it was like, listen, I've got these guys, they've come from New York.
Look, here we go. I will be the bouncer. you be Lee trying to get into my club.
We let him do his thing, and then every now and then we'd be like, hey, yo, we getting in or what? And I'm just like,
sir, please.
I'm just trying to get in with my friends, you know what?
Please. Now, appreciate you've had a difficult night. Put yourself in my shoes.
Like, where are you from? Like,
I'm from Birmingham, you cheeky devil. Now, if it's a quiet night, you can come in. Right.
Night.
What?
If it's a quiet night.
Why have you got your granddad with you? What's he doing here? Tell us about your band. I mean, what sort of band? Love a bit of music, mate.
Yeah, we do, like, rap music or whatever.
What part of New York are you from, sir?
Brooklyn.
I'll tell you what, it's breaking the rules. We're going to let you in. All right?
I appreciate that.
I'm with him. Can I come in?
I'm sorry, sir. We have an over-70s night every Sunday.
Can I come in?
You can definitely come in because tonight is bondage night. All right, now, Lee, remind us. It seems a while ago.
So, this is Lee, and I single-handedly held his five-a-side team to a draw after all of my players were sent off apart from me.
What year was this?
This was about a year ago.
And what was it about this match that caused your teammates to be sent off? What sort of people are you playing football with?
They were all different reasons.
Please tell us.
Well, the first one was sent off for dissent.
Who was that first person?
First person was Jeff.
Jeff. What does Jeff do for a living?
Jeff.
How do you know him?
He's a bin man.
He's a bin man?
Yeah.
Is he your bin man?
He's not my bin man, no.
So how do you know him?
He's one of the dads at the local school.
Yeah.
Then someone was sent off a few minutes after Jeff.
Who was that?
Ron.
Ron?
Ron.
Oh, no. Why?
Well, Ron went in with a two-footed tackle.
No. A two-footed tackle?
Yeah, and he has got one leg as well, which is really weird. But he did it twice. So...
How do you know Ron?
Postman.
He's a postman, is he?
I know he is.
Is he your postman?
Not my postman,
Not your postman?
No.
So how do you know him if he's not your postman?
Well, I just know him from the local school. He's one of the dads.
Ah, OK. And who's the third thug?
Why don't we say the next two were sent off together, shall we?
The next one to be sent off was Rob.
Rob? What does he do for a living?
He's actually a butcher.
A butcher? Yeah. Is he your butcher?
No, he's not my butcher, no, I'm a vegan.
So how do you know him, then?
He's next door to the veg shop.
And so you've naturally got to know the shopkeeper of the shop next door to where you buy all your
vegetables. Yeah, well, I go and buy my vegetables, and I always look in and I'll always give him a, that's cruel!
So we get to a point where Jeff, Ron and Rob have gone. It's just you and another person. Now, who's the other person that you're relying on?
Adrian.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Now, what does Adrian do?
He's actually lost his job.
Oh, no, but what did he do?
He was a butcher, a postman and a bin man.
Must be quite hard for him, then, to be around the other guys, the memories.
Well, yeah, but, you know, they were bras.
Sorry?
Oh, memories, sorry. Yes.
And what was he sent off, then?
Well, he was sent off for time wasting. Yes, because obviously, think about it. You're 8-0 up at half-time, you get a man sent off, and now it's 8-1, and then it's 8-2, and then it's 8-3, 8-4, 8-5, 8-6. We're down to 2 players, there's only a few minutes left. What are you going to do? You're going to time waste.
What was he doing to waste time?
He went for a Kit Kat.
What was the name of the team?
Fish Alive FC.
Fish Alive FC.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Lee Pam's bookshop buddy, Kyle's fellow fraudster, or Lee's football friend?
Well, I don't believe Lee.
Why?
Because of all of the details.
I think it is Lee.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Lee has done a Lee thing of making the story kind of like...
Yeah.
There's stuff that didn't happen.
Right.
But I think the guts of Lee's story... Yeah. I do. It just feels...
So,
like,
well, for example, the professions of your team.
Yeah.
Were they really a binman, a postman, a butcher, and an unemployed former binman, postman, and butcher?
OK.
Is that true?
No.
No.
No, it's not true, David, because that would be ridiculous.
I don't actually believe it was Lee. That was...
You don't believe it?
Who do you believe?
Of course not.
Well, it could... No, but the point is, it could be Lee.
David.
Yeah?
Probably not Lee.
Are you giving me a clue?
I'm worried you're having a breakdown. Richard, what about Pam's story?
People do it a lot. People put their books in front of other people's books. I absolutely get it. No way is Pam Ayres being disrespected in any bookshop in this country.
I think you're right.
And I thought that the Brooklyn accent was absolutely terrific.
So did I.
Yeah.
Let me just say now, I might have given the impression that I was ruling out Lee. And while on many levels...
What sort of mind games are you playing? You say you want to help me, and now you do this.
I still think it's Lee.
Honestly,
You think it's Lee?
I still think it's Lee.
I agree with Sarah.
OK, David, you're the captain of that team. You're the leader of that team. What are you going to say?
Kyle, every day of the week.
Yes, I think it's probably Kyle.
OK. Lee, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Lee, and I help Kyle get into a club.
Yes, Lee is Kyle's fellow fraudster. Thank you very much, Lee. So please welcome this week's special guest, Kath. So, Jason, what is Kath to you?
This is Kath. She got angry with me because I couldn't stop eating her dog sausages.
Right. Jason's sausage saviour. Bryony, how do you know Kath?
This is Kath. I had to strip her of first prize in a baking contest when I found out that somebody else had made her cake.
Right, Bryony's bogus baker. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Kath?
This is Kath. Together, we recently enjoyed a 5-mile ride on a tandem.
So there we have it. Is Kath Jason's sausage saviour, Bryony's bogus baker, or David's cycling sidekick? Lee, where would you like to begin?
Start with Jason. When was this?
Gosh, when was this?
I mean, give us a decade.
It was recent. It was in the last year.
In the last year?
It was about 4 months ago.
How long did it happen for?
Just over a year, I think.
So for just over a year, you've been eating her dog sausages.
That's right.
Right. Just one more question.
Oh, all right.
What the hell are you talking about?
Kath has got a cafe.
Yeah.
And that sells sausages.
Right.
What's the texture of the sausages?
I wasn't expecting that question.
They were pork sausages, sliced up, and for dogs.
So she's your local cafe owner?
That's right, yeah.
Right. You go into this cafe fairly regularly?
I go into the cafe.
Yeah. How often do you go?
Like, at one point, every day.
Why?
Because it's in the square.
What does that mean?
In the square where I live.
It's in the square where you live?
Yeah.
Where'd you live? Trumpton?
I've got an office, and it's near Kath's
Okay, this is during the lockdown?
It was during lockdown.
Was Kath's cafe open?
Only for outside use.
These sausages, are they already outside on the table as a treat for the dogs?
Yes.
Ah. How many tables had sausages on?
One, of course.
Just one?
Just the one.
So
you weren't allowed to sit at the tables because it was lockdown.
Oh, so I see. So humans weren't allowed to sit down, but loads of dogs were going, how have you been? You're right. Yeah.
What sort of dog do you have?
No, I don't have a dog.
Oh.
What makes them different, like, types of sausage? Why would they not be for humans as well?
Well, I thought they were. I thought they were sausage samples.
Okay.
Oh, you thought they were to make you go, I'll have number 3, please.
Wait.
Yeah.
Did she reprimand you multiple times or once?
Actually, she's never reprimanded me.
Well, hang on.
If you say you didn't stop, that means it happened multiple times. It can't happen once.
Can I say...
No. You're getting me mixed up. You're getting me mixed up here. Sophie, what... Sophie's got a question.
No one's ever done that on this show before. Go on. No, I'll take another question, please. It's not question time. Yes, the lady there in the sparkly dress. What would you like to say? Just answer the question!
So what happened was she put a sign up to say, can you stop eating the dog sausages.
Just dear Jason! Not for everybody.
No, it was a general, like, someone's eating the sausages.
Yeah. I'll turn around and if they're back on the table, we'll say no more about it.
How many times did you do it? And how did you find out that you were in the wrong?
Okay. When he was on all fours licking the water. He said enough is enough.
Because one day I got to the cafe and there was a sign saying these sausages are for dogs, can you stop?
Did you go in and tell her, oh, by the way, that is me? I think it might be mainly me eating the sausages.
I never went face to face, said, oh, by the way...
So you didn't mention it to her at all?
No.
Must have got a hell of a shot when she got the call to come down today. What the hell's this about? OK, I'll come then, but what the hell am I going to hear? Has he been stealing from my shop? What's he been doing? No, she just came down. Yeah, I'll come. Don't you want to know why? Yeah! There's nothing left at home. I'm bankrupt. Someone keeps eating all my dog sausages.
Who would you like to quiz next?
I mean, wow. I mean, give the poor fella a break. Jason, have a drink. We'll come back to you in a minute.
There's a bowl on the floor there. Just remind us, Bryony, what's your claim?
I had to strip Kath of her first place title because her cake, she'd not baked it.
OK.
And when was this?
This was August 2019.
That's post-Bake-Off for you?
Post-Bake-Off, yeah.
Is it a village fete or something?
Yeah, a little village just outside of Bristol.
So people just bring the cakes to the competition?
I know, it's incredible, isn't it?
That means you don't see the process. They bring the cake.
Yes.
It's an absolute lie, because you don't run a competition that way.
What do you mean?
What?
People just can't bring the cake.
They can.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
They can.
Yeah.
That is so flawed in so many ways.
That's
the craziest thing to me.
I agree. What you're doing is deconstructing 300 years of British culture.
I was going to say...
Let's let Bryony now paint a picture
Yeah.
of the whole day.
So it's a, classic village fete, and they had a little marquee trying to recreate the tent, and people brought their cakes for me to judge.
What was Kath's cake?
Kath's cake was a chocolate fudge cake.
And who had made Kath's cake?
And well, before you tell us, how did you find out that
Yeah.
someone else had made it?
Well, I mean, this is very village fetey, but it was actually one of her neighbours came over to tell me that she knew that Kath had bought it.
Oh, she bought it?
Like Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Didn't the box and the cellophane and the price sticker give it away?
Yeah, it said taste the difference on it. I didn't pick up on it.
She's always making caterpillar cakes.
So what did you do? You were given this information, puts you in a very difficult position.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I pulled Kath aside and had a little chat.
You didn't hesitate?
Yeah, I had a little chat with her.
And what happened then?
Well, she was remorseful, but we had to take first prize off her because I can't give her first prize for a cake that she didn't even make.
I'd say what we have learned, despite what Bake Off tell you, shop bought, clearly nicer than homemade.
What about David?
David. It was so long ago. What did he say?
I said, this is Kath, and together we recently enjoyed a 5-mile ride on a tandem.
Right. Front or back for you?
Yeah.
Front.
Wow. And how do you know Kath?
From the tandem ride.
This was the first time you met? Was...
That was
you
the first
met her
time
on
we
the
met.
bike?
I met her...
wow, that's a place to meet, isn't it?
No, I met her...
Stop riding so close!
I hired this with Kath at a bike hire shop in the New Forest.
Sorry, you hired it with her?
Yes.
But you don't know her?
No, we were in the queue.
Right.
The only bike that remained was a tandem.
Oh!
What were you doing in the New Forest in the first place? Why were you down there?
I was down there shooting a big new drama for Sky.
What sort of character were you playing? Posh and repressed or repressed and posh?
That's the journey, actually. It goes from one to the other, and it's over just 12 episodes.
I don't understand the motivation to do it. Why was it important that you ride on that particular day if you're there shooting something and you can come back the next day?
Well, I had a surprise day off because Ian McKellen's knee was playing up. And
I thought you say Ian McKellen's knee was playing my part.
No, he was... We was...
He'd do a good job, wouldn't he, his knee?
It's not working. Could we give David the day off and let my knee do
I
it?
have to say, McKellen's knee does a wonderful sarcastic expression that puts me to shame. But anyway, I was determined to have a bit of recreational fun in the New Forest, and I wasn't going to give up on a bike ride just because I was last in the queue.
When you got off the bike, did you spend a little bit longer together? Did you say coffee or anything like that, or did you just end it there?
Pedalo?
No, it was, you know, we had I think a 2 or 3 minute chat, but we didn't go for coffee.
I'll tell you what, David, it strikes me that Kath does look as though she could be on the back of a tandem. If you were to position yourself in front of her, that might sway the team into believing
in your
it was you.
view, would achieve something.
I think it would, yes.
All right, I will do it. Sorry about this, Kath. I haven't done my warm-up, but, you know, leg goes over there. Oh,
well, that's a very low crossbar, if you don't mind me saying.
No, absolutely, I do have trouble with it. Fortunately, they had a little set of steps. So I was able to imagine I'm climbing the steps, over I go, onto the seat, very comfy. There we go. And,
now, you want to check that Kath was happy.
Yeah. Are you happy, Kath? Are you happy, Kath? Take that as a yes, and off we go. There we go. There's some New Forest ponies there. That one looks like it's got mange. Over a cattle grid.
David, I have to tell you, she's making very little effort.
Do you know, there are times in your life where you question some of your career choices. Back to the hire shop, there we go. Both brakes, there we go. There we put it, and then prop the thing up, down the little staircase. Very nice to meet you, Kath.
There you go. Lovely. We need an answer. Is Kath Jason's sausage saviour, Bryony's bogus baker, or David's cycling sidekick?
It's a hard one, this. I'm going to let you two decide.
I'm going to go with Jason.
You're saying Jason ate dog sausages?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the cake one, actually.
OK, I'm slightly more towards Jason. Oh, have you changed?
Stop
growling. It sounds like you've had dog sausages.
What are you going to go for?
Sausages?
We can go sausages. It goes back with the 80s.
OK, we are going to go sausages.
Yeah.
Are you happy with sausage?
I'm happy with sausage.
Go on.
Here we go.
I'm not happy with sausage. I think it's cake, but we'll go sausage.
Well, go with what you think it is.
Cake! You can always compromise and go tandem. You know?
I think you're going cake. Kath, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Kath, and I had to stop Jason eating the dog sausage.
Yes, Kath is Jason's sausage saviour. And we can see a picture of the sign that she wrote now. There it is. Look, that's it. Please don't take the doggy sausage. It makes them sad. If you're really hungry, we have human treats, you idiot, Jason. Thank you very much indeed, Kath.
Thank you.
Please welcome this week's special guest, Mario. So, Angelica, what is Mario to you?
This is Mario. He's the builder I accidentally exposed myself to.
Bob, how do you know Mario?
This is Mario. He's my pest controller. I got to know him when he was doing a big job for me, and ever since he's been sending me photos of massive rats.
OK. Finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Mario?
This is Mario, and we got into a row because he thought I was honking him, when in fact I was on my way to the garage to fix my faulty horn.
David's team, where will you begin?
Angelica, so you accidentally exposed yourself to Mario, is that right?
So, moved into the house, and it needed lots of work doing.
Yeah.
The builders were in different parts of the house. So it's one of those things where if you had to have a bath or a shower, you had to take everything with you. So have it, and I came out of the bath, and I forgot my towel. So peeked out the bathroom, thought, coast is clear.
Yeah.
Ran into the bedroom, And I thought, phew, I made it.
Yeah.
And Mario was standing in there.
Oh, no.
Also naked. And this is her practising her alibi to her husband.
And what did she say?
Nothing for about 10 seconds.
What did he say?
Nothing for about 10 seconds.
So there's 10 seconds of silence. You're naked, he isn't.
He's not
he
naked.
Isn't.
He's not
How
naked.
naked are you?
Everything was on show.
Why didn't
Yeah.
you just run straight back into the bathroom? Why did you freeze?
You know when you have that moment of shock? I just stood there. I didn't even cover.
Yeah.
It's all sounding very suspicious,
I
isn't
just
it?
went like this. I was like...
10 seconds! That's a hell of a scene. And you go,
It was, you know, like when you see films.
That's 10 seconds, that's quite...
It's quite a long time.
So what happened?
I think I walked slowly out.
You walked up, you haven't got the towel.
Because what...
What are you going to do? You walk straight out and what, then go down to the builder and say, he's seen it, you might as well.
All right, who's next?
Bob, what was the pest control situation that Mario initially had to resolve for you?
It was moths.
Whereabouts?
It was in my, not quite...
Wallet.
wallet joke.
I love a moth in a wallet joke. Proper old school.
Oh, my God.
It was like, it's like a half basement. It's where I store everything. Lots of bags of clothes that we, you know, haven't thrown out. Mario came round to sort it out, and it ain't easy.
Where do the rats come in?
Yeah,
'Cause
where
you said
did you-
rats, didn't you?
I got talking to Mario, and he showed me a picture of a rat.
Well, I mean, just like you do, sort of just as you're chatting, and I tell you
Oh,
what,
I'm
there's
absolutely
a picture of a rat.
Yeah, if you saw
Yeah.
the picture, yeah, you'd show it to anyone.
Why, is it a big rat?
Oh, wow, it looks like it's this big.
Yeah.
But I said, no, that's just him hold it, you know, towards the camera thing.
Yeah.
So it looks massive. And he was a bit offended by this. So subsequently, with his company, Rats All Folks. No, he had a very normal name.
Yeah.
Murder She Roach. But he didn't like me doubting him.
And
so
how
now,
big-
whenever he gets a whopper,
Yeah.
bing.
Do you have a favourite rat picture he sent you?
Yeah, I won't let you see it, but wait. Have a look at this one, Lee.
Wow.
That's quite something.
That is genuinely shocking, and not sure that's legal, Bob.
All righty, now Lee.
Lee. OK, Lee, remind us of your story.
So this is Mario, and we had a row because he thought I was honking him, when in fact I was on my way to the garage to fix my faulty horn.
So the fault was that it wouldn't stop honking?
Yeah, it was honking randomly.
So it was sort of going off at different times. You didn't know when it was going to honk, and
Correct,
it was sometimes not.
correct.
And how many times did it go off when you were behind him?
I'd say at least a dozen. Sometimes it was a... Sometimes it was a...
So how did the fight break out?
Well, we had a row, not a fight. I'm not an animal. So we were driving along, and he's in front of me, and I'm probably a little bit too close to him, which was my mistake. But it went, and I sort of went, it's very hard to mime. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my horn. Well, actually, there is a way of doing it, but. So I could see him looking every time it went, and I was going, this is all fine, you know. But it just, and eventually he stops in the road, and I couldn't get past him. And he gets out of the car and he approaches me.
Oh.
I opened the window and I thought, I better keep this up. So I just went, look, I'm sorry, mate, but... I've caught this off the car.
He came around, you opened the window, you
I
said...
didn't do that because it's not 1986, David.
no,
No, I went like that. And that was annoying because you won't believe the noise it made when I opened the window.
And... Tell us what happens then.
So he then said, yeah, you got a problem, mate.
He appears to have a problem.
Yeah. You got a problem, mate. And I said, I'm beeping you because my horn is broken. He does it for no apparent reason. Don't you beat me, mate. I'll give you what for.
Yeah.
At this point, he grabs me and he says, you do that one more time, mate. You do that one more time. and I'll be straight back.
Given that he was that aggressive to you, you seem very relaxed being this close to him.
Yeah, but I did insist on the screens. Because that's how we first met. If I did that now, they'd go down and he'd attack me.
OK, we need an answer. So, is Mario Angelica's blushing builder, Bob's pest controller pal, or Lee's road rager?
Well, I mean, I'm tempted to eliminate Lee quite early on.
It did start falling to pieces.
I think Angelica's sounds like a real possibility. Like, that is something that could easily happen, I reckon.
What's difficult is the 10 seconds, isn't it? Let's be fair. I mean, you'd just scream and run away, wouldn't you?
I scream when I see my own reflection naked. yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't stand there for 10
I
seconds.
just have to tell my... Cover the mirrors once more!
I also reckon you quite like getting rat pictures.
Yeah. Who would you stay in contact with? Someone you flashed at or someone who sends you pictures of rats? And I think it's more likely to be Bob, myself.
Oh, God, I think it's Angelica.
Do you?
Oh,
I know,
Please
sorry.
agree.
I'm sorry.
Or I'll have to think.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Go with Bob.
Yeah.
You want to go with Bob, don't you?
I just want to be right. Sometimes I really don't care, but on this moment I want to be right.
I thought this show was a bit of fun.
So did I. OK, we're going to go for Bob.
You're saying it's Bob.
Going to go for Bob.
Bob, you're saying it's...
Can we get it over with?
OK, we're going for Bob. Mario, would you please reveal your true identity?
Hi, I'm Mario, and Angelica accidentally exposed herself to me.
Yes. Mario is Angelica's blushing builder. Thank you very much, Mario.
So confused. He genuinely just showed me a picture of a man holding a huge rat.
Why?
I've got lots of pictures of rats.
Can we just settle this once and for all? Angelica, have you got any photographic evidence?
Please welcome this week's special guest, Roger. So, Alice, what is Roger to you?
This is Roger. He painted my living room the wrong colour twice.
So Alice is hapless handyman. Les, how do you know Roger?
This is Roger, and he once gave me a lift to Family Fortunes on the top of his bouncy castle.
So, Les's bouncy buddy. And Lee, what is your relationship with Roger?
This is Roger. I once made him spend 20 minutes that he didn't have looking for a dog that didn't exist.
David's team, where would you like to begin?
So, Alice.
Yes.
He painted your living room the wrong colour twice. So what was the first colour?
The first colour was, I believe, called Railings. It's a kind of navy blue from a very posh paint brand.
And what was the colour that you wanted?
I wanted a dusty kind of plaster pink.
What? That is quite different.
It's quite different, yeah.
And the second go?
I got a pink that wasn't a dusty plaster pink.
You like a bit of pink, don't you?
I love a bit of pink, yeah.
And then what happened?
You're wearing pink. He's not being creepy. That's why.
With having a Lancastrian accent, everything sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? You love a bit of pink, don't you? Yeah.
To be fair to Roger, the first time it was your fault, but the second time it was my fault.
How are you painting pink over very, very dark blue?
I'm glad you asked that. I don't know, but thank goodness you can't see it through anymore, because I would have been livid.
That's a great response. Well, I'm glad you asked because I don't know.
I'm so glad you've given me the opportunity to tell you I have no idea. It is much harder to paint light over dark.
Well, this was the thing, and that's why I was so... I mean, I was pretty livid.
What colour were you?
I was... yeah, it was sort of a kind of rosé. And then I feel like I kind of kept a lid on it, but only because Roger said he'd sort it out and was very apologetic.
You should have taken the lid off. You'd have seen what he was painting.
If it turns out that he is a painter and decorator, I'm just glad that he's turned up. I'd also like to say it's the longest I've ever heard a painter and decorator not talking.
This is very interesting, Lee, that you're speculating so much about the profession of the person who you know to have been someone you spoke to about a dog.
Now, Les,
Yes.
you were wanting a pink. How was there miscommunication where you're asking for a pink and he gives you railings?
Sure. When he came round to do the quote, he came... I've got very high ceilings, don't want to show off, so he did his quote, quite expensive, because, you know, period property. And so worked it out, wrote it in his little book. Then I went away, then he did his stuff. So that's how I think it was just next to another customer's decision.
Right. So you first called him out on it when you saw the railings up on the wall?
Yeah, so that's when he was very apologetic and said, I'll sort it as soon as I can.
So what went wrong the second time?
So the second time, I sent a link to the new colour.
Yes.
But I sent a link to a colour that I'd been considering.
Yes.
When you're swatching it and everything.
Yes.
So that's when it's
So that
my
was
fault.
your
because
error.
So
that was my error.
So did you have to pay for the second
Well, now
one?
I just live with that colour.
Oh, you just left it up?
Well, because we've been doing this for about 3 years now, haven't we? It's taken forever.
You've got really high ceilings.
All right, who would you like to quiz next?
So, Les, the lift on the bouncy castle, how did that come about?
Roger worked on Family Fortunes. You know, people always say to me, where do you get those families? Well, Roger was one of the guys that used to get the families.
You make it sound like he went round shopping centres with a net.
He auditioned them.
Right.
So, on this morning, we're staying in the hotel that's near the studios in Nottingham. And I'm worried because the cab hasn't arrived to take us to the studio, because I like to get there early for the production meeting.
On Family Fortunes?
Family Fortunes, this is, yeah.
OK. Is there a lot of preparation?
Rob, you're saying it like you host a show about the Hadron Collider. This is easier than Family Fortunes.
Yeah.
A lot easier.
He's outraged by
I mean,
that.
I would describe this as any idiot could do it.
I think I've proven that. So, you've got to get to work.
Yeah, I've got to get to the studios,
Yes.
and the cab hasn't arrived. So Roger said, I'll tell you what, we'll go in the van.
Look at his face.
He was working on the show.
Yes.
But in his spare time, he used to provide coconut shies and... coconut shies and skittle alleys and also bouncy castles for fetes and for kids' parties.
So you're late for Family Fortunes. Yeah. Les is the man who finds the families, but he also has a bouncy castle company.
No, I'm Les, that's Roger.
Roger?
As I was saying, any idiot could host this show. Any idiot.
I'm proving it's not as easy as it looks.
Do you know what? If he'd have got here earlier and learned the names...
And he stays at the same hotel?
He's at the hotel, and so are two of the writers and the warm-up man. We're all there.
With his van, with his bouncy castles?
With his van, with his bouncy castles.
OK.
And we all get in the van. The warm-up man, Bobby, and I sat in the back, and Bobby just sat on the skittle alley. And I thought, well, the bouncy castle looks like the most comfortable place, so I sat on the bouncy castle.
Can I just ask, did you take your shoes and socks off?
It wasn't fully up, it was deflated. So we get in the van, and when we get to the studio, the security man doesn't come out at first, so Roger gets his bugle out. And goes...
Why has he got a bugle?
Well, Roger is a musician as well as having this leisure So he plays the bugle, and the security guy comes out and says, what have you got? And Roger says, I've got 2 comedy writers and a warm-up man and a game show host in the back. And I actually said, if it's up there, I'll give you the money myself.
Oh, come on!
All right. Now, what about Lee?
Yes, so
remind us, Lee,
us.
what is it you're claiming?
I once made Roger spend 20 minutes that he didn't have looking for a dog that didn't exist.
What was he late for?
For work.
And what does he do?
Work as? Bouncy castles. We've already been through that.
He's got another job as well as the bugles, the bouncy castles, and the taxi service to Family Fortunes.
And the painting.
And the musician.
He's absolutely recession-proof, isn't he?
He also works at a lockkeeper's cottage.
A lockkeeper's cottage?
He's a lockkeeper.
Now, what about this little dog?
Yes. What little dog?
The little...
Oh, the dog, yes. I was having a walk, as is my right. I mean, who's going to stop me?
It's an open prison.
Yeah.
You do what you want.
So now I'm having a walk in my local park, and I was caught short. So I popped into an enclosed area of trees and bushes.
Yeah.
And I did what I needed to do.
Number 2?
I can't remember which tree it was. I saw a little dog appear. Now, I thought to myself, I know what happens here. Somebody's going to come in after that dog. And sure enough, a man started coming in after the dog. So the dog's now looking at me weeing against the tree, quite shocked to look, as if to say,
what?
How are you doing that? With both feet on the ground. I can see Roger coming in. I quickly zip up.
While you're weeing?
No, I was able to stop my wee because
you're stopping
there
mid-wee.
are people that can stop mid-flow. Some people can do it. I have that kind of control.
I can do it, but I don't like to.
Luckily, I was coming to the tail end, so I zipped up quickly, and he's now come in, and he sees me as I'm sort of appearing from around the tree. So what do? I panic, and I shout, Sheba! Sheba! And I start pretending I'm looking for a dog.
I see.
So you then wasted 20 minutes of Roger's time, as we know. But listen, we can all stop mid-flow. Yeah. It's fine. For 20 minutes...
Who said I stopped for 20 minutes?
Continue.
What now? He said, well, I'll help you look. And he goes off and looks in another area with trees and stuff to see if the dog's over there. I take the opportunity to finish the wee. I'm not going to lie. His dog stays there looking at me as if to go, you liar. After 20 minutes of him seeing me getting upset, but I wasn't upset, I was acting, I eventually had a plan, because I thought, I can't go from Sheba! Sheba! to... I said, I'm going to get going. Very hard to make that join, isn't it?
I'm going to get another dog.
You know what I mean? So eventually, when he was far enough away, I went, Sheba! Sheba, is that my phone? Hello? No way! She hasn't. Has she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. My
Her body had been found by the police.
She'd found her way home.
There we are. All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Roger Alice's hapless handyman, Les's bouncy buddy, or Lee's dog detective?
I think Lee.
You think Lee?
No, I'm kidding. Was it inflated, the bouncy castle, Les?
No, I said that before. It kind of deflated, but it was still quite comfortable.
You see, that I don't believe. I think it's either deflated fully, or it's fully... I don't think it'll be in a sort of mid-state shoved in the van next to the coconut shy.
And also, when they were talking about painting and decorating, Roger looked very cross.
He did look...
And he does look like he has his cup of tea, milk, 3 sugars. And that's classic builder stuff.
I think he didn't take kindly to that stereotype. We think Alice, don't we? I think we're going to go with Alice.
You think it's Alice? Roger, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Roger, and I took Les to Family Fortunes, where he would sit on the bouncy castle.
Yes, Roger is Les's bouncy buddy. Thank you very much, Roger. Please welcome this week's special guest, Graham. So, Bobby, what is Graham to you?
So this is Graham. When I won his competition, my prize was a trolley dash through a pound shop.
Joe Brand, how do you know Graham?
This is my old neighbour, Graham, and when my landlady was trying to sell my flat, I asked Graham to bang a bongo to put off any potential buyers.
Oh. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Graham?
This is Graham. All his bees flew away when I was looking after him.
So there we have it. Bobby's pound shop pal, Joe's noisy neighbour, or Lee's bee-less buddy. David's team, where do you begin?
OK, well, we'll start with Bobby. So what was Graham's competition?
So he was organising a competition to open a new pound store, actually 99p store.
So, sorry, he was organising a competition to open one?
So it's a competition where somebody gets to open the store.
So the prize was opening the new pound store?
Yes.
What was the competition?
Oh, so you had to submit some sort of like artistic, creative entry that you could display or show off at the opening.
The winner of the artistic competition would win the prize of opening the new pound store.
And get to do a trolley dash as well.
How long did you get to dash?
99 seconds. It would make sense, wouldn't it? 99p.
Makes sort of. I suppose, or 99 years, or, yeah, fine.
Bobby, tell us about your artistic entry.
So...
Oh, the old Rob Brydon chat-up line.
So I wrote, like, a little, like, poem or a jig.
A what?
Sorry?
A jig?
A jig, like, little, like, few words to open it.
That's not a jig, is
a poem,
it? A
like,
jig is a dance.
But, like, but you could... If you had, in theory, a good verse, you could jig to it as well.
Now, do you recall any of this poem?
So I definitely remember one line was, at 99p store, bargains galore.
At 99p
And then everyone's, like, jigging.
Bargains galore.
And everyone's, like, jigging away at the opening.
So that was your artistic entry. What was it up against?
I don't know.
Let me rephrase that. What did that beat?
I think it's far more likely that Bobby's entry was actually the only one.
What sort of size crowd was it? How many people had this attracted?
60, 70, 80. That's a lot.
Why don't you say about 70?
Because it's somewhere in the region of 60 to 80.
Well, that's about 70.
It could be, but it might be the lower end. Might be 60.
So 60-plus people have gone...
Maximum 80.
Apparently they're opening a new pound store in the area, so that would be a great thing to do. Shall we go to that?
I don't want to go. Haven't you heard? Someone's reading a poem. Get my coat.
Yes, it's quite... It's not just a poem. It's one of those poems you're encouraged to jig around to.
We'll never get in. It'll be packed. Oh, I don't know. 60 to 80, probably 59 plus, but maybe towards the lower end. Let's go, darling.
All right. Who next?
Joe. Graham is your former neighbour, is that right?
Yes, Graham is my former neighbour. And my landlady wanted to sell the flat I was living in. So I enlisted the help of Graham to just make it sound, obviously, like there was loads of noise all the time to put off the buyers.
So he would just listen out for when people were being shown round?
No, well, she would tell me when people were coming to look round.
Yeah.
Joe, didn't she think it was maybe a bad idea to let you be the person who shows people around? Because you're not incentivised to try and make it look nice because you're going to lose where your home if it's sold.
It happens more than you think in supermarkets. There are people at the supermarket showing you how to use the automatic checkout.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's a turkey voting for Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did he have the bongos, or did you have to supply them?
He had decorative bongos, which which I never really heard him play very much.
Is that like a male version of Vajazzled? I'd like the decorative bongos, please.
So did any of the prospective buyers be like, oh, that's a nightmare? Does that go on often? Like, did they fall for it?
It worked a treat. Not one single one said, really love a bit of bongos above my head of an evening.
And why was Graham so keen to help?
Because we knew each other. I'd have played the bongos for him if he'd asked me, so...
Honestly, a bottle of wine's enough.
Lee, remind us of your story.
Well, Graham was is a beekeeper, and I was looking after his bees, and they all managed to escape.
Why were you looking after his bees? Because Graham is a beekeeper, and you are a comedian.
Yes, but he kept wearing the wrong shirts, and they kept landing on him.
So he has bees in his garden?
Yes.
And he's, what, going on holiday?
He's going away for 5 days.
And it's obviously filling in that number of pet passports for a few tens of thousands of bees. It's a nightmare.
How do you look after bees? Because you don't feed them, do you?
They actually have, like, a sugary, watery thing that you feed them.
Do you feed them individually?
Yes, you do. I breastfed them individually.
I'm imagining you've got the sugary water. What is the receptacle?
There's a little tray at the bottom of the hive. You pull it out, you pour it in, you close.
Do you have to put on a beekeeping costume to do that?
Not to do that,
OK.
but there was more to it than that, and this is why the bees escaped.
Right.
It's when you try and get the honey that is the problem, and that's what the problem was.
Why did you try and get their honey?
Because I thought...
He's only away for 5 days.
Yes, but I'd actually seen beekeepers on the television, and I saw the process of the smoking thing and the costume.
And you thought you'd give it a go?
Well, it was there.
Unauthorised.
It was there.
So was the beekeeping costume not locked in his house?
No, no. It was in a shed. It's just a shed. And it was just hanging there. Everything was so neat, I thought, that's tempting. And then I saw the little thing.
The smoke thing?
No, the woman that was asthmatic. And I helped her, she left. And then there was the smoking thing. It's like a little... It's like a watering can, but it produces smoke if you light it.
Oh, right, so
and that kind of calms them down.
That sort of makes them a bit, you know...
And you figured out how to use that watering can that emits smoke.
Well, I thought I had. That's the problem. There were these little things inside. You know those little things you light that smell nice and they're sometimes pyramid-shaped?
Like a little cone?
Cone, yeah, a little cone.
A cone?
Yes. So you light the little cone, it gives off a smell. And there was a box of matches just there as well.
Oh, no.
It was unbelievably convenient. And it was almost like a sketch.
There was a big sign saying, why not give it a go?
So you put the outfit on.
Yeah.
It's now... The thing is smoking. What did you do?
I tried to remember the TV documentary I saw, which was to take the lid off the roof.
Oh, Lord. Quite scary.
I'm a brave man, Rob. I'm a brave man.
Or an idiot. I mean, we'll never know.
There's a third option. I could be a liar. So I decided to take the lid off.
Whoa, so you took the lid off before smoking them?
No, you take the lid off, then you smoke in a downward position. It goes down.
Smoking in a downward position?
You smoke down because...
rises.
No, you don't, because too much smoke can actually kill them. Because if you put it in the bottom and it goes up, it could kill them. It's like the old phrase, never smoke a beehive from the bottom.
So you start smoking from above.
I went... And so when you push it, it forces the smoke down before it floats back up. But it was like a dragon.
Yeah.
Right, it came out like that.
Right.
And the bees sort of like that, looked up like that. And then a few of them started to come out, but then the big thing happened. The Queen turned up.
How did you identify the Queen?
She had a crown. And smoke, 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 bees, all fly away.
Right.
Including the Queen. Gone. Every one of them.
Every single bee?
Well, there was one in there that sort of went... Where'd everyone go? At this point, I'm panicking.
Go to a pet shop. I need 45,000 bees.
And he said, we don't sell bees. And you said, but you had one in your window yesterday.
Maybe they'd gone to an Airbnb. Now, all right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Is Graham Bobby's pound shop pal, Joe's noisy neighbour, or Lee's beeless buddy?
I don't think it's the pound shop thing, because that sounded like such a peculiar little sequence of events. I think it's probably the bongos.
You think it's probably the bongos? What do you...
Yeah, I like the bongo story. Although I think he could be a beekeeper.
So what are you going to settle on, then?
I'm feeling the bongo story. It's unlikely, but it's got to be the most likely.
You're going for the bongos. Graham, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Graham, and I let Bobby go on a trolley dash.
Yes, and we have a picture from the local newspaper to prove this. Look, there he is. Wow. Yes, Graham is Bobby's pound shop pal. Thank you very much, Graham. So please welcome this week's special guest, Melissa. So, Raj, what is Melissa to you?
Well, this is Melissa, and last year she caught me cuddling her car.
Deborah, how do you know Melissa?
Well, this is Melissa, and I recently discovered that we shared the same naked cleaner.
Finally, David, what is your relationship with Melissa?
This is Melissa, and she once assaulted me with a super soaker when she mistook me for a fox.
Lee's team, where do you want to begin?
Well, it's got to be Raj, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, why are you cuddling her car?
I had a car which
was my pride and joy. It wasn't the value, it was just a Spitfire. It was a really nice blue Spitfire.
Which stage of your life was this, Raj?
To be honest, I sold the car only about 6 years ago. And I hadn't seen the car for all that time. And as lockdown was easing, we were told that you could actually drive to beauty spots and go for a walk. We got in the car, we drove to the parking spot at Hempstead Forest.
Oh, Hampstead Forest, yeah.
No, Hempstead.
Hempstead? I just thought you were very posh. The car at Hempstead Forest.
It's about 2 miles from where I live.
OK.
And we parked up, and lo and behold, there was my old car.
So you went and embraced the car?
Well, I would never have sold that car, but it was about the time when I really had a bad back. So it was just too much getting in and out of the Spitfire. It was really low. So my wife said, you know, you've got to...
Rob's the same, getting in and out of his bath.
Yeah.
You've got a little door now, haven't you, Rob? So
I saw the car.
You saw your car, and it's obviously same red,
and
so
literally,
you know it's yours.
we were in a good mood, the sun was shining, we were able to go for a walk, and I said to Sue, you know, it's my old car.
You said to Sue?
Yes, Sue's my wife. So I said to Sue, oh, man, it's my old car, and I just said, oh, I've got to give it a hug. And so I went over, and literally, I was giving it a hug, and this lovely lady came up to me and said, excuse me, but what are you doing with my car?
Right, can I just ask you a question? Have you come on national television to invent an alibi about you and your wife going dogging?
How did Melissa react upon her arrival?
Well, to be honest, I mean, she didn't know who I was from Adam, so she, you know, said, what are you doing? And I had to explain that this actually was my car, because she hadn't bought it off me.
OK. What year was this car?
It was, I think, 1963.
Ah, and it's a Triumph, so it'll have had the sort of TR4A suspension.
To be honest, I have no idea, Lee.
Ah, good, because I haven't either. Was it a soft top?
Yeah, it was only a two-seater.
But, Raj, you also said that Melissa was there with her family. It's a two-seater.
Oh.
No, I never said she was there with her family.
There's more to you than a lobster costume.
Do you know what I'm saying?
She definitely wasn't there with her family. She was there with a friend. There was just two of them.
Just the two of them?
In the same bubble?
Keep it light.
All right, who would you like to quiz next?
Well, Deborah, she said they shared a naked cleaner. Now, I've heard of naked cleaners.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is it a thing?
It is a thing, and I know two people that have them.
Wait, stop.
No, because I can't say who it is.
Well, we know who they are.
Does one always stand on the left so we know who it is?
No, don't go there.
I didn't say anybody. Who are you thinking of?
Why did I come on this show? Do you know what? Can I just say to our lovely audience here and everybody watching at home, Rob, I've told a million times how much I love this show. I told you how much I love this show before the show. I told everybody that I love this show. The reality is I never want to come on this show again.
I should say, you can hire naked cleaners. I had not hired a naked cleaner. I had hired a cleaner who was wonderful and I adored. And one day I came home and discovered her cleaning naked.
Oh, naked. Completely
Yes.
naked. Now, please tell us about that conversation.
I came in and I shouted out, "Hello, Anna, I'm home." And she popped her head out of the bedroom and said, "Oh, I'm cleaning naked because it's so hot." And I went, "Oh." And I said to my best friend, "Thank God my husband didn't come home." And she went, "Don't be ridiculous, Deborah, he was under the bed."
She's not a very good cleaner, is she?
Yeah, and anyway, it then turned out it was just something that she liked to do. If it got very hot and there was no one home, she enjoyed cleaning naked.
Right, so, and did you say this is fine?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I feel very grateful anyone will come and hoover and clean my bathroom as it is. I'm not going to start making stipulations like you have to have clothes on.
I don't think that's a strict rule. I think you're allowed to say, you know, tea's in the kitchen, milk's in the fridge, keep your clothes on. I think that's completely fine.
No, because I feel uncomfortable. Then I feel like I'm one of the lords and ladies in Downton Abbey.
So you think by saying keep your clothes on it makes you sound a bit uppity?
Yeah, just generally.
It's a good point, actually, because I'm worried. I've got a cleaner and I'm worried I'm not down to earth as I used to be. So when I get back, I'm going to say, can you take all your clothes off? Because I'm a little bit worried that people are getting the wrong impression of me.
So Melissa isn't the cleaner that...
No.
What's the connection?
OK, so I was at a party and I overheard behind me someone telling my anecdote, which was I came home, the cleaner put her head out the bedroom saying, I'm cleaning naked because it's so hot. And I thought, she's stolen my anecdote. So I just went, excuse me, that's my story. That happened to me. And she went, well, it happened to me. I said, what is your cleaner's name? And she said, Anna. And I went, oh, my God, we've got the same cleaner.
Yeah, but hang on. She doesn't advertise herself as a naked cleaner. She's a cleaner who likes to take her clothes off. You're saying they exist as a... Would you like to book a naked cleaner?
Yes, they do.
But clearly what Anna does, you know, you would prefer that. That doesn't sound...
No, I think...
That doesn't...
The potential here...
Oh, I just want to go home.
The point is that what you're saying, I think, is that, that this Anna maybe has missed her vocation working as the kind of cleaner you're talking about your perverted show business friends liking, where they not only are allowed to take their clothes off, but must do.
You're very calm about this. You're like, OK, that's fine, that's your attitude. I'm shocked. You know, you're married. Do you want your husband to see a naked woman cleaning the house?
Oh, he would just be... He's like David. He would be... He was very like David. He would just be really embarrassed about it.
He'd just be a bit embarrassed?
He'd just be a bit embarrassed.
All right, now, what about David?
Oh, he's never been naked in his life.
Every bit of me has been naked, but never all at the same time.
I like to think of the idea that you came out in a little jacket.
Remind us of your connection to Melissa.
Well, this is Melissa, and she once assaulted me with a super soaker when she mistook me for a fox.
Are we all aware of the super soakers?
Especially a large, powerful water pistol.
Yeah,
it takes the fun of the water pistol and then goes too far. You'll be familiar with the principle, Lee.
What were you doing for her to think you were a fox?
Were you, by any chance, making love with a high-pitched squeal?
By the bins.
Again.
No, I wasn't. I think, as we've established...
I've heard you, David. We've all heard.
No, you can't have it both ways. I'm either some pathetic asexual lump, as correctly expressed by Deborah, or...
To be strictly fair, I did not describe my husband or you as a pathetic asexual lump.
No.
Yeah, but we knew what you were thinking.
I'm either an embarrassed embarrassment, or I'm a fox squealing by the bins. Not both.
But what were you doing?
Good question. I was replacing and removing a bin. Melissa lives next door. We both have, at our house and at her house, green recycling wheelie bins.
A green bin is for green waste.
No, that's the brown one.
Where I live, which I'm not prepared to specify on television for obvious reasons.
What? In case they try every door?
It's just they could narrow it down. Anyway, a green wheelie bin is what you have for recycling where I live.
But why did she think you're a fox?
It was dark, and she heard noises and assumed it was a fox.
And where are you at this point? You're just putting the bin back?
I am putting the bin down the side of her house.
Right.
And extracting our bin, because the bins, after being emptied, sometimes get wrongly reattributed.
Now, that's true.
So she's immediately gone, come round, got you. How many times?
I think it was one big sploosh.
She got you, though?
She got me.
How wet were you?
Is there a unit of wetness? I don't remember it hurting, but it was shocking and wet.
That's his profile on Match.com.
I wouldn't describe it as pain, but it was definitely...
That's the second list.
It was shocking and...
Shocking, not too wet, but painful.
All right.
Similar for fun and games.
We need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Melissa Raj's motoring mate, Deborah's cleaner companion, or David's sharpshooter?
I'm Team Deborah. Having the same anecdote and being furious about someone stealing your anecdote and finding out you independently had experienced the same thing would bond you.
I'm believing Raj.
Are you?
I am, yeah, because I could imagine he would get excited about it. It's something that he would do.
What do you think, Lee?
Well, everything about David's story makes sense. He would swap the bins in a way that no other human being would. Not just, oh, yeah, sorry, got your bin. Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, no, I better put it back secretly. She'll hate me otherwise. Right, so, I'm now going to make a decision. We'll go with the cleaner story.
All right. They're saying that it is the cleaner. Melissa, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Melissa, and I shared a naked cleaner with Deborah.
Whoa!
Yes, Melissa is Deborah's cleaner companion. Thank you very much, Melissa. Please welcome this week's special guest, Pam. So, Victoria, what is Pam to you?
This is Pam. She once returned my missing cat, only for my actual cat to turn up 2 days later.
Right, Victoria's pet pal. Rod, how do you know Pam?
This is Pam. I once had to say sorry to her for throwing my welly at her owls.
Rod's owl owner. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Pam?
This is Pam. She once walked into her hotel room to find me in her bath.
So there we have it. David's team, where to begin?
So, Victoria, so you had lost your cat.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And what did the cat look like?
Black.
Just black all over?
Correct.
And how long had the cat been missing?
Maybe 2 or 3 days.
Right. And had you done anything about the cat being missing? Yeah.
We'd put flyers up on bus stops, lampposts, newsagents' window.
Yeah. Name of the cat?
Romeo.
Romeo. And so...
Did you put underneath wherefore art thou?
No, but I should have done.
Except, of course, that means why are you?
Yes,
Not
good
where.
point, David. I realised he didn't realise that.
No.
Yeah, I love working with you, David.
Yeah.
Such fun.
If it's any consolation, Lee, and I know it will be, I welled up with self-loathing even as I said it. But I couldn't not say it.
Well,
so,
that's fair enough.
This is one of the many things I'm dealing with.
OK. Well, can you hurry up and get it sorted out?
That's what my therapist says at every session. So soon after the, as it were, the flyering campaign, Pam turned up.
Yep.
And did you know Pam before?
Vaguely.
How did you know her?
Because she's the landlady of my local pub.
Right. Which
and she says vaguely. You mean very well, Victoria.
So when she brought the fake Romeo back, did you know it wasn't your cat?
No, I thought it was Romeo. We were completely happy to have him back. He he looked a bit thinner.
A bit more black and whitey. A bit more doggy.
So then when the real Romeo came back...
So there was meowing at the back door 2 days-ish after that, and opened the back door, and there was Romeo. Yeah. So then I thought, oh, my God, I've got to go back to Pam.
Yeah.
To say, whose is this cat? Because he's not mine.
Yeah.
So we decided that we should take it to the Battersea Cats and Dogs Home, which we did.
Do people go to Battersea Cats Home and go, we've lost our cat?
Yeah, you ring up.
It's not a good sister. You ring up and you go, my cat's gone missing. What does it look like? It's black. I'll go and have a look. Yeah, we found it.
Do you know if the original owner was ever reunited with fake Romeo?
I do, because I rang about 7 days later to find out what had happened, and fake Romeo had been reunited with his owner.
That's a lovely end to the story.
Was Pam the real owner? Was it that like the twist in the story?
Who would you like to quiz next?
Rod.
Just remind us, Rod, of your statement, please.
This is Pam, and I once had to say sorry to her for throwing my welly at her owls.
Rod,
Yeah.
Were you sharing your welly with your friend?
Well, yes. I was in a way, because I say my welly, it was my welly for the duration of the welly throwing.
Nice.
Why was Pam's owl attending the welly throwing contest?
The welly throwing contest...
Yes.
...was at a little fete, a festival, It was at a wedding. It was a wedding. And the wedding people decided to have, like, a fete, a festival, a little carnival, to entertain people in the day before the wedding.
Yeah, but why is that part of the festival? Just a woman was standing with owls?
I mean, it's a good question. Pamela Owls were at the wedding.
Are you saying Pamela Owls or Pam and her owls?
There's Pam and her owls. Yes. There's welly throwing, there's food stalls, there's coconut shies, there's other things going on.
OK, so it's at the Pam and her owls section. What's the activity? Just a good old look at an owl.
There's a little gazebo, and then there's owls on, like, podiums. That you can go up and read about, and you can ask Pam about her owl.
So these aren't models of owls, these are live owls.
Oh, they're live owls.
Did you say, are they live?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the idea of someone coming along with owls sounds very dull. Yeah. But for Pam and her owls, and they're just little cement owls, would be... Right, thanks, Pam. I'm just going to go to the food stall.
Pam's got a show with her dead owls. Do you mean like Pam and her dead owls to the...
Do the owls do anything? Or do they just sit there?
They just sit there.
Do they sit there and observe the people reading about them?
Pam assured me they were alive.
But if they were in the gazebo, when you threw the welly, how did it hit the owls?
Shall I show you what happened?
Yes, please do.
Right. There's two techniques with welly throwing. You've got the basic swing, like that. Or, you'll know this, Rob, you've got the hammer.
Of course, yes.
Right? I swung like that, left go a little bit too late.
Oh.
On an angle. Here's Pam and her owls, 2 owls on plinths.
Yeah.
I leave go of the welly. It goes straight into their gazebo. This is how I knew they were alive. It went straight through the middle of them, and the 2 of them went like that.
Right. So the owls weren't hit or hurt?
Thankfully.
But they might have cricked their necks.
Because I don't think Pam would be standing like that if I'd killed them.
All right, now then, what about Lee? Just remind us.
This is Pam. She once walked into a hotel room to find me in her bath.
So why were you in her bath?
Because I was in the wrong room.
How did you end up in the wrong room?
I ended up in the wrong room because I locked myself out.
So you thought you'd just pick anyone?
No, I went down to reception and told them this. I said, I've locked myself out. And they said, oh, what?
So just go in Pam's room.
They said, don't worry, she's at a wedding with her owls, you'll be all right for an hour. They said, what room are you in? Gave them the room number. Didn't realise I'd got the room number wrong.
Yeah, but you've gone in the room.
Correct.
Haven't you noticed that your suitcase is not there?
No, because
and you just went straight in the bathroom like a nutter.
No.
You just went straight...
I had checked into the hotel a few hours earlier. I was very late for a show I was doing. I put my suitcase just next to the bed and ran straight to the show.
You go in the room, you go immediately into the bathroom. You haven't gone into the main bit of the room in a way which would be, there's no doubt, more normal.
Have you ever needed the toilet desperately?
Yeah, but you went to the bath, not the toilet.
Hey, I'm from up north. I can double up.
Yeah. So you're naked. You're in the bath.
Yeah.
Pam walks in.
Yeah.
What happened?
I got my headphones on. I'm chilling out to a bit of whatever. And then I think I hear a click, if I'm going to be honest, at the time. I'm thinking...
And it's Pam cocking a gun.
Anyway, I'm lying there and she comes in.
Right. This must have been a very upsetting moment for both of you, but particularly for her.
No,
How did she react?
Particularly for me.
No, sir, not for you.
No.
For you, the company was a plus.
No.
For her...
No.
How did she react?
No. As far as I'm concerned, I'm in my own bath. Who's going to be the most upset at that point?
were you exposed in the bath?
Oh, no, I put bubble bath in because even I can't stand the sight of it.
So what happened then?
She stepped out. At this point, she's on the phone now, to reception, saying, there's a man in my bath. So I went round the corner to have it out with Pam. I see female clothes strewn everywhere, and I don't like being in the wrong, so I just went, well, somebody's very untidy. and I left. She wasn't happy until I turned at the last moment. I said, just as the door was closing, I just put my foot in like that and wedged it. I went, would you like to come on Would I Lie to You?
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Pam Victoria's pet pal, Rod's owl owner, or Lee's bemused bather?
I think Victoria, because Pam looks like a pub owner. She looks like she could handle a tap.
Yeah.
Oh. She could that night.
What do you think?
I think it's Victoria.
Also, I don't believe a single word Lee or Rod says.
Yeah, well, that would be a good reason to go for Victoria.
Yeah. You don't believe the bit about me even having a bath?
No, look at you.
I'm going Victoria.
You still think Victoria?
I do.
I'm very worried about this. I think it might be Rod, but we're going to go for Victoria.
You're going to say it's Victoria?
Yeah.
OK. Pam, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Pam, and Rod threw a Wellington boot at my house.
Yes, Pam is Rod's owl owner. Thank you very much, Pam. So please welcome this week's special guest, Amanda. So, Mike, what is Amanda to you?
This is Amanda. I once hospitalised her with my elaborate dance moves.
Philippa, how do you know Amanda?
This is Amanda, and she caught me smuggling my cat into her zoo.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Amanda?
This is Amanda. When I kicked her child's football back, she watched in horror as it sailed through the air and knocked her mother out of her camping chair.
Lee's team.
Mike. How old were you?
Around 20, maybe 19.
OK, and where were you?
Where was I? I suppose...
Well, don't suppose, tell me where you were.
I was in quite an experimental phase of my dance journey, is where I was.
I meant geographically, but fine. Tell us more about the dance journey.
I was I've got, well, no formal training in dance, but at that time it was quite muscular, vigorous, but it's sort of heavy storytelling element to it as well. Amanda was a friend, well, and is to this day, but she was one of the few people who would be, was happy to take me on, who would...
Take you on?
Take me on dance-wise, take me on at the discotheque.
So basically, was it in a disco?
It was a normal, everyday discotheque.
Right. And you were in there with your friend?
With a bunch of friends.
And how did you know Amanda?
How did I know Amanda?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Students.
OK, and you said you told a story in your dance.
Telling a story, yeah.
What was the story this particular night?
Ragnarok. I was trying to retell the sort of the Nordic apocalypse. And the finishing move was the problem lay with it. I was trying out a sort of power pirouette.
Can you show us the power pirouette?
Well, it's been 20 years. I could try.
OK.
But it's like the point of the power pirouette is very much the fulcrum is the heel rather than the toe.
Yeah.
So you're trying to do the full 360 with this sort of kind of cowboy swish at the end.
Yeah.
At which point they're reeling and you sort of saunter away.
Yeah.
And I then did a sort of tight funk twist, expecting to see Amanda, but Amanda was gone, and I just assumed she was tired, she was exhausted, but it turned out that the fulcrum, my heel, I'd done it on her right big toe.
Long Pete?
I don't know what she called her toes, but the torque was such that it ripped her toenail clean out.
Wow. And that was just from you talking?
That was...
But you didn't feel that with the... Usually when you stand on something, you know you've stood on something.
I didn't know, of course. I mean, if I'd known, I'd have... I'm not a monster.
I have to say, that's some of the finest dancing we've ever seen on this
Thank you.
That's right up there with some of my stuff.
Who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Philippa, can you remind me again?
This is Amanda.
Yeah.
And she caught me smuggling my cat into her zoo.
Why did you want to smuggle your cat into a zoo?
Because when David Attenborough comes on, the cat dashes to watch the telly and really just loves the animals. And his favourite things are lions. And I just thought it'd be really great if I showed him some real lions.
Is this Kevin, the cat that I've seen on your TV shows?
Yes.
Oh.
I've got this sort of backpack thing that the cat's got a sort of porthole with a sort of perspex hole so he can sit in it.
You regularly take the cat out for days out?
Oh, yeah.
And have you made this thing, or can you buy a cat carrier?
You can buy them.
OK, so where else have you taken the cat?
Oh, we go on long walks.
Well, you do.
Which zoo was it?
London Zoo.
So what does Amanda do at London Zoo?
She goes around wearing a lanyard, bossing people about.
Oh. And where did she apprehend you?
Well, we were doing quite well, because I kind of knew I wasn't supposed to bring an animal into the zoo.
Kind of?
Yeah, but I didn't want to face up to that.
Right.
Oh.
So I put a sort of cardigan thing over his porthole, so it just looked like I was wearing a backpack. And then to show him the lions and things, I just sort of turned my back there like that.
You didn't?
I did.
So now everyone's thinking, why is this woman not looking at the lions?
But it was the tiger enclosure where I came across her, because to see the tigers, you have to go up on a sort of walkway. And so I was up on the walkway, and when I turned my back and removed the cardigan so Kevin could have a look, Amanda spotted my strange behaviour. And then she and a keeper kind of escorted me out of the zoo.
Why didn't you wear the backpack at the front to make yourself look less suspicious and sort of, like, just cover it over and then... Oh, it's like you flash it to the tiger. Can you talk us through the conversation with Amanda and the keeper?
She said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm showing Kevin the tigers." And she said, "You're not allowed to bring animals in here."
Did you not say, but you started it?
I wish I had!
All right. What about David's plausible tale? Refresh our memories.
This is Amanda. When I kicked her child's football back, she stood in horror as it sailed through the air and knocked her mother out of her camping chair.
So, where were you?
On the beach.
Whereabouts?
In Cornwall.
So you're on a beach call with your family?
Yes.
Ball comes trickling towards you.
The ball came very near me and then sort of stopped.
Yeah.
And then I went with the instinct to kick it back.
How far away was the child?
I'd say probably maybe about where Alan is.
So Alan's the child?
Yeah. Amanda is sort of the distance you are, Lee, and then Leisha is the mother sitting in a
And you
in a
managed
chair.
to kick a football that far?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, David. Brilliantly convincing.
Uh-huh. How many years ago?
This was last year.
Right.
You thought to keep in touch, just so she'd be quite useful to come on the programme and talk about it.
You've no idea. I mean, any incident at all, notes are made, numbers are taken.
It's getting so desperate, he probably aimed for the mother, thinking, at least I'll have something for series 29. And what did you say? I'm assuming you shouted, "Sorry, I was aiming for your child."
I went over.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, I'll help the mother up, but then actually, obviously, this was last year, so it's sort of the time of COVID.
Yeah, not a good time for going on holidays, but we'll let it go.
So people were going to Cornwall last summer, you know.
OK.
I mean, that part's true.
Only the
So I went over and sort of got to within a couple of yards and then sort of mimed helping her up while Amanda helped her up.
Yeah. Even though you said sorry, when you walked away with your daughter and wife, did you turn to your wife and go, not a bad kick, that, wasn't it? Did you feel a bit proud of yourself?
No, I didn't feel proud of it, because
Well, you texted me.
Right, we need an answer. Is Amanda Mike's damaged dancer, Philippa's feline finder, or David's outraged onlooker?
I feel like the sand scenario, it's not adding up.
What about Mike?
I feel like that isn't true neither.
I think Philippa's is very plausible.
You'd have to be a bit...
Well, but she is.
So what are you going to say?
So you think it's...
I think it might be at the zoo.
I think it might be the zoo.
OK, then we'll go with my team and say it's Philippa.
You're saying that it's Philippa taking her cat, Kevin, to the zoo. Right. Amanda, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Amanda, and Mike's dance moves put me in hospital.
Thank you very much, Amanda.